What's up everybody? Today I'm going to show you how to shiplap your wall just like Chip and JoJo on Fixer Upper. You know, the houses with the recessed lights and the shiplap walls. Then keep watching because I'm about to show you the best method for shiplapping your walls, and I have another video on how to install recessed lights. I've got this tactic from another YouTuber years ago and I've been using this method ever since. So if you have any cool ideas, put them down here in the comments and I'll check them out and see how I can apply that to my house. The results of shiplap are amazing. I'm about to show you a few examples around my very own house that I've completed myself. Time for a quick 10-second introduction video, which is a great time for you to hit that subscribe button. Demo in the bathroom. So this should be a really quick how-to video since it is pretty easy. If you do have any questions, just please submit them into the comment section. I'm pretty responsive and I'll try to answer them the best I can. So my question here today is, what is shiplap? So shiplap started out as less of an aesthetic design and more of a practical purpose. The basics of it was the top board would lap over the bottom board and so on and so forth. So as water came down, it wouldn't go behind the boards. It would just keep going on top of the bottom boards that are under it, and just, you know, you wouldn't have any water damage. And it was most commonly used on, guess, ships. You got it. But today you are more likely to hear about shiplap being more of a decorative design, such as this one here. So here's the first example of the shiplap where we just transformed this entryway closet or shoe closet. Just added that back there to hide some of the flaws in the sheetrock. So here's an example from the introduction of my video. You can see that it's just a section of my wall. We actually filled this in. This was all open to the bathroom and we just put a wall behind it and then shiplapped it so we didn't have to texture it and mess with all that fun stuff and get it even. And here is the last example, really small. Hello. It's behind this mirror for the most part, but it kind of just helps frame in the mirror and it has a backing for it. I still need to hang the mirror, but as you can see, it actually just really made this room look really nice. Added these built-ins to it. All right, let's see another example here. This one is a work in progress. I'm finishing up the laundry room, but this is what it looks like right after you tack it to the wall. We still just need to paint it, so it'll look like this section here. The reason why we're doing it in here, I don't know if you can see this texture here, but it's just awful and it gets worse and worse all the way around. You can see the lines in it, and these are just seams in the sheetrock. But you can see like these corners here, like I would have to re-tape and float this whole room. But instead, we had a big problem there in the corner too. Instead of re-taping it, we just need to put shiplap on it. And I just need to put a little edge piece there in the corner. It's a very inexpensive way to completely transform any room in your house. So step one of this whole process is to get the shiplap or make the shiplap. As you can see here, the shiplap that we're using is not real shiplap. It's only an 1/8 inch thick. But the benefit of this is you're going to be saving hundreds of dollars. Each plank of 8-foot shiplap is close to $8 to $9 for one plank. These strips here, you buy a 4 by 8 foot piece of plywood and just rip it. You can just rip these into 8-inch width sections here, and there you have your entire strip of shiplap. You can get these whole sheets for 20 bucks a pop. This whole room probably costs less than 40 bucks to do. Same for the closet, 20 bucks. The other closet, 20 bucks. The master, 20 bucks. Now some of you may not be able to rip some of these pieces of wood, but the great thing is Home Depot or Lowe's will do that for you. Or you can use a really cheap table saw like this guy here. So once you have the wood cut, you're halfway there. That is the hardest part. Step 2 is to get to painting. You're going to want to paint the edges just like I have here before you apply that wood on there. This will make it so when you're trying to paint it after it's already hung up, you're not going to get a lot of things like that there. You'll be able to have real clean edges. In fact, go ahead and put your entire first coat on there. You're going to need a second coat anyway. So next you're going to want to nail your boards to the wall. So here's the gun we use to fasten the panels to the wall. It's a PowerShop Pro. It's an electric staple / nail gun that just uses these nails right here. These have the exact dimension and size I've used here, the 5/8 inch, 15 millimeter. That's what that gun could support. This is what they look like. Very easy, very simple to do. But you can do it with regular nails too. You could do it with something like this if you wanted. you know, just basic nails. So then what you're gonna wanna do is just start from one end of the wall and start from either the floor or the ceiling, and just work your way across and work your way up or down, depending if you are starting from the ceiling or not. And just keep on going, and then as you reach the end of the next wall, just make your cut and use that same end piece that you have left remaining to start your new row. Okay, so when starting your second row, you're gonna wanna put a gap in between each one of these panels. And so the reason for the gap is for when the temperature changes or humidity changes, these boards are gonna move, they're gonna expand, and you don't want them to expand and pop off the other boards and start warping. So by having this gap here, you give them room to kind of move around in it. The best way to get the consistent size across is actually just by using a nickel. But just using a nickel like this here, just this nickel right here, it's the perfect size. Fits right there in that gap, and just set them in across on both sides of the board. You also use a level. Make sure you use a level. You want each panel to be level, because if you start off crooked, you're gonna end crooked. So just keep leveling your way up. Keep putting these two nickels in between and you should be good to go. It's that easy. So the only other thing really is to put your second coat of paint on these walls. I would strongly advise using a hand brush around the corners, like in these sections here, and around the nail holes, and then foam roller the rest of the board face. And that's how you get this really clean finish. You can see it in the reflection. So the last thing I want to point out here is you can see that the bottom board is a full panel. All these are full panels, but as you get to the top, you're more than likely going to have to cut this top board to make it a little bit smaller. So that's what we did here. We took off about 1 inch of that top board. You're going to want to rip it with the table saw, or again, just go to Home Depot and Lowe's and see if they can cut one for you, but you won't know that size most likely. That's all there is to it. But remember, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you like me, please subscribe.